Breaking news, a federal judge is tossing out President Trump's $15 billion defamation lawsuit against the New York Times just days after it was filed. The reason? The judge said it was too long. CNN's Brian Stelter is following these developments. Brian, tell us more.
Yeah, this statement from the federal judge is dripping with derision. He refers to the federal rules of civil procedure and basically says, hey, you've submitted a PR memo. You've submitted an op-ed, not an actual lawsuit. So go back to the drawing board and try again. This was an 85-page lawsuit, although it only has two actual claims, two counts of defamation by the New York Times and by the book publisher Penguin Random House. An 85-page ruling with all sorts of pro-Trump commentary and many of the boasts that we're used to hearing from the president. You know, when I first read the lawsuit earlier this week, I kind of thought this feels like it was written for an audience that was of one. It was written to appeal to the president, but not to the court. And essentially, that's what Judge Merryday is saying in his statement today. He is saying to Trump's legal team, you can go ahead and refile this. You have 28 days to refile, but you've got to cut it down by more than half. He wants this turned back in with 40 pages or fewer. And he is saying that these lawyers have to follow the civil procedures for how a complaint is supposed to work. He says, make it short, make it plain, make it direct. Don't make it sound like a PR stunt.
Well, not the PR stunt part, but cut it in half sounds like one of our editors. Thank you so much, Brian. And we just got a statement from the president's legal team. Do you want to read it, or do you want me to go for it?
It says President Trump will continue to hold the fake news accountable through this powerhouse lawsuit against the Times, its reporters, and Penguin in accordance with the judge's direction on logistics. So it does sound like they will go back and rewrite this and refile it in the next 4 weeks. You know, we spoke with about half a dozen media lawyers and First Amendment experts earlier in the week. They all said that this original complaint was meritless and that it did read more like a PR stunt than a serious case. It is, of course, a very high bar for any public figure to claim defamation and win in court. But Trump did win a lot of headlines from MAGA media this week just for taking on the New York Times. So he's at least achieved a PR victory. Today, however, a little bit of a humiliating response from this federal judge.
All right, Brian, thank you so much for that quick reporting. I want to go to CNN senior legal analyst Ellie Honig. Ellie, what strikes me is obviously the president's legal team. They're telling us that they're not giving up. They'll refile. And unless judges keep throwing this out, one of the goals of the president has been successful with ABC, with CBS, is to push and then find a settlement because the media outlets don't want to go through it and also don't want to get into discovery.
Exactly. And the judge here actually fires a shot across the bow here of the Trump administration. Not only does he say, look, I want a lawsuit, not a sermon, he also says, you haven't even alleged what defamation is. All you're doing is complaining about the way you're covered here. But guess what? That's not defamation. And so you need these media entities, the New York Times or others, to stand up. Otherwise, they're going to settle and Trump's going to take it as a win.